Hey, what's going on? We keeping it up. Doing some paperwork today. Finished it up here at the Yummy. A nice, quiet day as I realign some of my thoughts. And I was about to head out in a minute, but I made some tea. And so now I'm waiting on my tea to cool. I said, let me holler at y'all right quick. I had uploaded and greetings and welcome back once again. This is Amuna. I'll be talking like new people. I'm sorry. Manners. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Solonomics with Amuni Israel. You can like, subscribe, and share, and all that nice stuff. I'll be talking like everybody who come know what time it is. Welcome. Um, hey, what's going on? I said let me pop on here real quick, and in light of many things, sometimes we can get caught up in, or even I can get caught up in what's going on over here and what's going on over there. And I try to stay focused, but you can't live in a vacuum. So you pay attention to what's happening. Doesn't necessarily mean gloom and doom. It just means that things are happening. Things are always going to be happening. There's never going to be a time when things are not happening, right? But this thought of happiness is one that people are this pursuit, the pursuit of happiness, and I just want to be happy, and and all of this type of jazz here. And there might be a secret that they're not telling us. Maybe we weren't put here to be happy. That's crazy. I don't know, just entertain. Maybe we weren't put here to be happy, because happy is transient. Happiness is not something that stays with you. If you bought my favorite meal, I'm happy, and as soon as I'm done eating it, I'm not happy anymore because it's finished. If I went to my favorite location, I'm happy, and now when it's time to go home, I'm not happy anymore. You know who's the perfect example of what that looks like? Children. Children. Now, I'm going to tell you the alternative to this happiness, though. But children, oh, Father, help me. I love them dearly. They will be like, you say, hey, you want to go to the park? Yeah, I'm so happy. Oh, they dancing all around. Yeah, we going to the park. We going to the park. And they go around, they tell everybody, put the clothes on, and you take them to the park. And they're so happy. This is all about, what, 15 minutes, 20 at tops, right? The enthusiasm is busting through the roof. They're running through the park, and they're so happy. Same it is when you give them a new game, a new toy. Ooh, I'm so happy, right? Because of some material possession, something came into my world and it gave me this boost. The moment, and I'm telling you facts, I live it every day, and I'm confused about life. The moment you say, hey, it's time to go, let's go, we gotta leave. The face, everything begins contorted. The moment you give them a toy and it's broken, and the happiness is gone. It's fleeting. It was an illusion. Oops, I just got so excited I kicked forward my cranberry tea. What in the world? I'm gonna have to wipe that up. Yeah, it's too hot for me to drink right now. Now the thing's staring at me on the floor. Like, come and wipe me up. Yeah, so the moment that thing that made you happy is gone, you're not happy no more. That was gas. What was gas? What that pushed? Yeah, so the point is that the secret to happiness is that you may not need to be looking for happiness. Now, contentment and joy is something totally different. And I always ask them, oh, the noise? No, it's my tea. I got excited and kicked my see my tea here? Cranberry tea. And it's because cranberries on sale right now. So anytime I see this time of year cranberries on sale, I'll be, buy one, get one free. I'll be buying it up. You can make juice, lemonade, all that good stuff. So I was watching a show the other day, documentary called Greed. Is it called Greed? I don't even want to lie on them. But, it's something, they were presenting things in the documentary that I often ponder about. And then I was reading to the babies the book of Ecclesiastes this past Shabbat that's talking about Solomon. Now, Solomon, he's like one of the first on record ballers. Like, if you read the book of Ecclesiastes and really listen to what Solomon is saying, he is stunting, that, like they would say, right? He is flossing in the book of. If you go back and read, right, he's like, man, look, basically, yo, I had it all. He's kind of like that show, I Blew a Bag. It comes on YouTube. I think it comes on YouTube where I Blew a Bag, where they have all of these stars and they get to talk about how much money they had and all of the things that they spent it on. If you read Solomon Ecclesiastes is the first I Blew a Bag episode. Hey, how you doing? Yep, thank you. Glad you caught it live too. Glad you caught it live. I'm over here waiting for my tea to cool. So Solomon in Ecclesiastes is all like, hey, I was just listening to the wisdom of Solomon yesterday. I like listening. Yeah, because Solomon, like I was telling the children, Solomon is telling you whatever you're about to go towards, I'm giving you a heads up of my experience. Like, a lot of people like to come against the Bible. Oh, it's the white man's book, this, that, and the third. You're missing the point. There's nothing new under the sun. That means what happened already will happen again. We see it in the today's stars. You have stuff like Unsung and this and that, and people saying they had money and then they didn't. Lifestyle of the rich and famous and all this stuff like this. So Solomon is like, listen, I did it all. You name it, I did it. I built bridges and I built buildings and I built structures and I built ponds and pools and I had choirs and I had singing women and singing men, and he's going in of all the things that he had. He did it all. And at the end, he sounds to me a bit salty. He thought it was going to make him whatever he was in pursuit of, because remember, he asked for wisdom. And then he was granted all of these things through asking for this wisdom. Okay? The Most High granted him all these things. And then he said he applied his mind to folly. He wanted to know this, everything. I want to know why this happens. Due process, what's going on? I want to know why this happens. And so there's no limit. And he's telling you, look, much studying is the weariness of the flesh. When you go beyond and beyond and beyond and beyond, and there's no contentment, you'll be grieved. Your spirit will be grieved. You'll become heavy. And then you'll miss the point. You won't have this fleeting happiness. You won't be content. You won't have any joy. None of that stuff. And then that's where you see people who, you notice some people, not all, who have a lot of knowledge, seems very heavy and like weighted down and pretentious and I know and you don't. And, because to a certain degree, it's just like anything that knowledge weighs the mind down, especially when you have a lot of knowledge that's either just fillers or you're not using it to apply it to anything. It's not helping you in any direction. Like, a lot of the things that I incline towards, it's helping me to understand a process that or some thoughts that I have been going over in my mind, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So Solomon sounds a little salty because he did all of that. And then he comes at the end and said, you know what? That's all vanity. Because you're going to build up, more. Like the documentary name I'm trying to find. I think it was called Greed. I'm going to tell you in a minute. But you say more. Gimme. If the knowledge is right, especially right now in the conscious community, and the acquisition of knowledge, because, our foreparents are coming off of being withheld from reading, and it's not that far behind us. It's like, oh, I gotta get. Okay, what are you doing with all this knowledge you getting? Is it to debate? Is it to argue? Is it to lord over others? Because if that's the reason you're getting it, you're wasting your time. Because at the end of the day, it's the application of knowledge that equals power. They say knowledge is power. The application of knowledge equals power. What's the name of my documentary? I'm trying to go thing and my computer's going slow here. Nah, I didn't go so far. right? And here it is: money, happiness, and eternal life. And it's about DW documentaries, and they talk about just the consumption. Solomon talked about it, so they're not even saying anything that he didn't say. Basically, I don't even want to lie on what he said. He's basically saying the eye, there's no filling the eye. Hold on, Ecclesiastes. There's no being satisfied. And in the documentary, the man was like, yeah, I got 75 pair of shoes, and yeah, I ain't never wore these shoes. So at some point, it's the ego, because you're accumulating beyond what you're able to sustain, but beyond what you will even be able to do in this lifetime, but just to say you've done it. And I asked a question in another space today: we are living in a place that says the sky is the limit and go beyond your means and grow till you can't grow anymore. But in what respect? Because even I'm looking outside right now, this right here has a lot of pine trees. Even the pine tree has a space where it grows to its fullest potential, and then it has actualized its life as a pine tree. You know what I mean? The mango tree is going to do the same thing. The grass is going to... So everything has its levels for what it was brought here to do. But we're living in a space and time where excess is seen as success. I'll say that again only because it rhymed. Excess is being seen as success. And that's my question. Is excess success? And does excess make you happy? Solomon goes into talking about when you acquire all these things, now you start losing sleep. Biggie came and sang about it years ago. More money, more problems. You see what I'm saying? Jay-Z says he has 99 problems, but a B ain't one. So Solomon says it umpteen thousand years ago, and because there's nothing new under the sun, they come back and say you lose sleep, or this happens, or that happens, because we're advancing towards something that we think is going to relieve one thing, which it does in a way, and then adds a whole nother other dynamic. So what does he say is important? I'm trying to get the part where he speaks about the eyes. Here, chapter 1, verse 8. Hallelujah. He says, all things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The thing that have been, it is that shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. I know we've heard that before. There's no new thing under the sun. He says the eye is not satisfied with seeing. I want to see more. I want to see more and more and more and more and more. And that's why they're talking about how social media have us because now there's so much information coming in at such a rate that our brain is not even really processing. So you see 50 million recipes in a day. Ooh, that looks good. Ooh, that looks good. Ooh, that looks good. Ooh, that looks good. End of the night, you're like, man, I'm hungry. You don't even have the energy to make one recipe. So now you're not happy because you're hungry, right? So there is a balance between what it is that we take in and what it is that we apply. Because if we're imbalanced in any way, or we're just doing, it's like my daughter. She wants to she watched a baking show, and she wants to do this icing technique. But I said to her, now she thinks, oh, I know how to do it. I said, but you didn't research enough to know what is the measurements, what is this, what is that. So she keeps saying, Mommy, can I do thing? I tell her to go ahead. Waste ingredients, waste ingredients. She comes back again. Oh, that didn't work. Then she comes again, waste ingredients. I said, wait, at what point are you going to get the information before you go and try this thing? Because someone else has done it already. So this is why I say there's a balance. When we're younger, we think we know everything and we don't have to read the instructions. We don't have to read the pamphlet. We know what to do. And then we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy just wasting, making mistakes. And at the end of the day, when we get a little bit older, we're like, oh, we got some time and some patience. Let me go ahead and read what they was trying to tell me. Excess, is it good? It depends. But the question I ask is, does excess equal success? Today, if somebody thinks somebody is flossing and they have the big this and I have the big that and I have all this stuff and I'm excessive and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, people say, oh, that person is successful. But when you look up the word successful, as we did the other day, it means what comes after, right? What comes after? So what succeeds something. So after doing this and this and this, or after applying myself in this area and this area, after sacrificing, because success does not come without giving something up. After sacrificing something, I get something. Now, whether or not what comes after, because you can have ill success or you can have positive success. And a lot of times in this environment, people only speak of the positive thought of success, but you can have something ill succeed. So you can be successful. For instance, you have people on YouTube who want to eat all of this food, right? They want to have channels where they eat this absorbent amount of food. They're successful at their goal. They wanted to eat this absorbent amount of food and they ate it. But what comes after that? Is it good or is it not good? I see Iron here joking up. Let me see what Iron here is saying. I say, when I receive extra, I'm done right now, fries, biscuits, food in my meal, or extra money in my check, I'm really happy. And then it fleets away, and then it's fleeting. And then it's fleeting. The point is that happy is temporary. Happiness is temporary. And the secret to understanding it is that you have to learn to be, if you want to find some evenness in your spirit, then you have to find contentment. Because contentment, a happiness, okay, if I'm not happy, then I'm not enjoying what's going on around me. I'm not, because I'm always wanting more. There's something beyond that. So, but you can be driven. I'm driven, but that's not to say that I cannot sit back. You have some people who are never content. They cannot sit back and enjoy the present. And the reality is the present is all you have. Somebody lied to you that somewhere over the rainbow, they lied. You know what I'm saying? Way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Listen to the song. Somebody lied to you that somewhere over the rainbow is because when you get over the rainbow, you're going to be looking around like, well, where is everybody? It's not what I thought it was. This is not how I imagined it to be. And a lot of people get over there. Why do you see a lot of celebrities self-medicate? Why do a lot of celebrities talk about loneliness? Did we see some fall into depression and with not birth control pills, that's what some what do you call it, sleeping pills and things of this nature, right? Because what they're projecting to us that we think is glamorous and they look so happy, it's not the reality. It's not the reality. So that was my thoughts, y'all. Let me see if my little cranberry juice, my little cranberry. Now it's still real hot, y'all. It's still real hot. If we're acquiring knowledge just for knowledge's sake, then somebody lied to us. And we tend to flock towards people who are not, there's no proof of concept. There's no proof that, I'm actually talking about. It just sounds good. Because in some way we may be feeling like I'm listening to this and I'm vicariously, living through this knowledge and it's helping me to sound like I know what I'm talking about. It's one of the most destructive lies. It is. That detours one from their true purpose. It's true. It's true. I saw, who I saw in a documentary, like Amuna, all you do is watch documentaries. Documentaries are the jam. I don't know if it was a documentary, but it was talking about Jim Carrey. We remember him from back in the day. He used to be in Living Color and all of these to do. And he talks about, how crazy he became a bit of a recluse and he's in there painting weird looking pictures and things happened in his life and you're like, where is that spark? Where is that joy? Where is that spirit that you once saw in the person? Another person who actually I see them on YouTube. I'm like, wait a minute, all the stars is on YouTube now. They pushing the everyday folk out. Martin Lawrence, he's on YouTube now. And I'm like, you don't see that enlivened spirit. So they went for what they thought was going to make them happy, and it was fleeting, and ultimately it left you feeling robbed. So there's a lesson to be learned here. How many times do we have to keep going for the same thing and getting the same result? If you look around and you can find joy and contentment, yes, you have drive to, grow. But if you can look around and find joy in your children or joy in your mate, joy in your family, where you are, and be appreciative, because that's another thing that brings contentment is the appreciation. Oh, look, my shadow. I didn't see the shadow right here. The appreciation. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in and letting your voice be heard while we're making this young cottage transition here. I have a that's my thoughts. The secret of happiness is don't believe the hype. Read those who've come before you and learn from their mistakes. If you go back and read what Solomon says, he said he did that all. And after you have it, then what? People are gonna have to get up and cultivate it. Somebody's gonna have to get up and keep the numbers. They're gonna have to do the Joseph in Egypt. They're gonna have to do all of these things to keep it in order and to keep it everything above board. And if you don't do these things, then the benefit of having it is going to become more of a burden than a benefit. Anywho, I didn't have a chance to go through it, but look what came. Look what came. Pradam, I told y'all. This is called the Western Case for Monogamy over. It's a very thick book here. And so for those, so how did you guys like that interesting divorce court show yesterday? But once I thumbed through this, I just want to let you guys know it came. Basically, it's going over all of the cases that have been made for and against polygyny throughout time. So let's look at some of the. You wouldn't believe what they were trying to sell this book for. You know, Muna, I'm going to go like somebody is getting rid of this book off of an old bookshelf. Y'all know how they got markings in it and I didn't do it. It's all right. As long as I can read the words, I am good. So let's see some of the chapters. More like a textbook. Yeah, it's from Cambridge University Press. Cambridge University. So it's a textbook. It's the introduction, the American context. I'm just giving you the overview. Broader Western and global context, the Western case against polygamy distilled, the shifting terminology of plural marriages, real polygamy, constructive polygamy, successive polygamy, clerical polygamy or bigamy. That's all in the introduction, y'all. From polygamy to monogamy in Judaism. And then it goes into Bible. This is going to be very interesting. Monogamy versus polygamy in the Bible, creation of monogamy for procreation, Mosaic law, monogamy versus polygamy in the Mishnah and the Talmud. This is going to be an extensive study, y'all. Woo! The polygamy is going to take me a real long time. If you want to cop the book for yourself, it's called The Western Case of Monogamy over Polygamy by John Witt Jr. That's the name of the book. The polygamy banned by Rabbi Gershom. The case, let's see, the early church fathers, first millennium, medieval case for monogamy. So this is not just the Calvinist case against polygamy. Early Protestants, they wasn't lying when they said, this is from Cambridge Studies in Law and Christianity. This is a textbook. Liberal Enlightenment case against polygamy. And then the American case against polygamy. So this is going to take me some time to read. You know, I like to take my time, move slow. This is how many pages in this book. Ooh, I feel like I'm going in a whole course, man. Because years ago, 465 pages. And the bibliography is thick. Ooh. Yeah, years ago, I needed this. And there wasn't anybody that I knew of that was giving right information, because like I said before, people are going to choose to do what they want to do. What I'm fighting against is ignorance, misinformation, and manipulation of people's will for egotistical gain. Yeah, we're burning fire upon that every time. Like, people don't want to come out and be honest about what it is they're doing and give someone else, but they want to hide behind, they want to hide behind rhetoric that they have wrapped around the word. They want to hide behind their own will and selfish desires and then put it on people and propagate it in the community and then put scarlet letters on people's chests who don't agree. They call the men, you an Ahab. If a man doesn't agree, he gets chided too. Oh, you're an Ahab. That woman got you. Da 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 da. Brother, because it's all a game. Too many people. It's a game. It's a club. If you don't agree, then you're in this club, and if you do agree, then you're pro poly. And it's like, okay, we just need one more reason to split the community and the people. And it's proper. It's a propaganda at its best. So things such as this that go into the historical. I ain't just talking now. The historical findings of where people were throughout history, because people say, oh, they did it in the Bible. Okay, at what time? For what purpose? Under what conditions? Was it sanctioned? Was it regulated? Oh, and again, I'll leave you guys with this. Is my tea ready? The babies will hear me say to them, I want you to do this thing. And then they're going to test the waters. They're going to push the boundaries. And I'll stand there, I'll be in the kitchen, or I'll be doing something, and I'm watching them out the corner of my eye, and they see them. This is how the mind works. This is how the ego works. And they may see them. Say if I'm making bread, they like to mock me and mimic me and make the bread. So if a piece of dough falls off, you'll see them pick it up and start doing whatever they do. Or if I'm cutting vegetables, they'll take the vegetables up and say they're cutting it too. If their sibling comes along and says, hey, what are you doing? Did mommy say you can do that? You know what the answer is? The answer is she saw me and she didn't say anything. I could just be watching you because she saw me and she didn't say anything. In polygyny, that in the Bible, this is the argument that I hear most people say. Well, the Most High didn't say anything. If it was so terrible and wrong, he would have said something. This argument to see whether or not it holds water. Anywho, at any rate, thank everybody for tuning in. Cranberry with no sugar. I told you I'm starting to do a little cleanse here. Y'all know cranberry is good for the kidneys. It's a great flush. So the tea and the iced tea, where you can just make it cool. And I'm gangster. Yes, I have my cranberries in the bottom of the jar. All right, everybody. Hopefully that was helpful. Find your peace. Because if you find your peace, find a space where you could, if you're sleeping on the floor, you could be peaceful. And if you're laying in the biggest Princess P bed with the canopy and you still find your peace. There's some people who's laying in a lap of luxury and need sleep aids to go to bed at night. You know what's bliss? To be able to close your eyes and actually sleep. You know what I mean? To be able to actually sleep and wake up in the morning and feel rested and restored. These are the small things that we take for granted. Some of the people, they look like they'll be your same age. You went to school with them, and you're like, wow. There's a lot of stuff going on with you, huh? They'll see me and be like, wow, you look the same. And I'm like, wow, you look different. Because of how we process life, joy, no matter what you're going through. I personally, earlier today, I was like, it was a moment. You know what I mean? But laughter, high vibrational things, singing high vibrational things, dancing, music, drawing, art, things that are going to lift your spirits so that you don't stay in a slump, so that you don't stay downtrodden, you don't stay feeling despondent, like life can never get better for me. You have to keep in front of you hope. You know what I'm saying? And trust that, listen, this too will pass. And I know it sounds like hype, but it is not. If you don't have a goal that you're focused on, right? But also acknowledging that in the present, there's something that I need to learn. There's something that I may be missing. Because sometimes we're like, it's everybody else. And if I can just only, I'm speaking to myself right now. If I can only get this one thing. And then at some point you have to look around and be like, is it really everybody else? Or am I missing something? Is there something that I need to be doing? Is it something that I can improve in my now? Because everything starts in seed form. So for instance, if now you don't manage your time well, then how are you going to manage your time when you have more things to do? If now you don't manage your resources well, then how are you going to manage your resources when you have more things to do? So if you're faithful with little, you'll be faithful with much. And so if we see we're not getting to our goal or something that we want to accomplish, it's important to sometimes look around and be like, is it me? And then begin to set small goals. Like I have to say my small goal. I'm like, Amuna, start like, what is it, like the 3rd week in October? I'm like, you're going to get up and you're going to start going to the gym. And every day except for the Shabbat, day of rest, I get up and I go to the gym. And I'm watching myself, y'all. And I'm watching myself come up with old school excuses like, ooh, it sure is cold outside. Oh, I could just sleep a little more. And for some reason, my body has kicked into, nope, get up. Even if you take 2 more seconds, get up. And that has since the 3rd week in October till now. And then I log it on my phone so that you can see your progress. Because sometimes we think nothing is happening only because we're not charting our progress. So I use my little free calendar thing on my phone. And then when I'm done, I write gym. Usually I go early in the morning, gym, 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 gym. And then you make small steps and you look back and be like, wow, I did that. No excuses, no reasons as to why not. I did it in the cold. I did it when my toe was hurting. My toe was hurting though. You know what I mean? I just went a little slower. Some days you weren't like, get in there, but I just went a little slower just to get back into the groove and of things. And then I happened to see somebody I used to go to high school with, and they're like, hey man, get in. I used to run track. So now you have people who are holding you to a standard that you used to be, and you way out of shape from that. But it's just a reminder that it's not beyond you, that you can accomplish this. But I'm going to go ahead and wind down because the sun looks like it's dropping. I feel like my family breaks my peace at times. Yes, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes, I'm sorry. They comment on all the natural or spiritual things I'm committing on working on. I'm not sure how to keep them in my life. It depends. Do you live with them? Do you just see them in passing? Do you go to visit them? It really depends on the proximity they are to you. I find, speaking from experience, that some of the things that we inherited from our family, I must have took the book to the house. Some of the things that we inherited when we're trying to grow up from that situation, to make the choice to flush it out as opposed to run from it, because oftentimes when we run from it, we bring it with us. And so being able to see it and identify it and see how it has affected us. Did we internalize it? Did we make it a part of who we are? Are we running, or are we choosing to separate? There's a difference between like, oh, I can't run off, or engage. Especially if it's your parents, there's a kind of way you have to deal with it. But this person is coming with X, Y, and Z. I choose to disengage. I choose not to be reactionary. I choose to let them be who they are. You know what I mean? And make the choice to be who I am. So there's a lot going on there. Like I said, it depends on where they are, the proximity, the relationship, the dependency. All of that depends to see. You live with them, see? And that's what it is. That means either you're in their space. So they're like, okay, this is my territory. I walk up and down up in here. I get to say what I feel, X, Y, and Z. So then in that space, you have to deal with it differently. Right? You have to deal with it differently when you're actually in their space. Trust me. I know. Y'all just don't know. Cranberry tea is boss. Oh man, this is boss. Anywho. All right, I'll update you guys on the yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard. But it's like, set boundaries, be respectful. I was listening to a video, and he said it was Dr. Miles Monroe, and he said he's talking about bettering yourself and this and that, and he says, sometimes we need to stop complaining about our parents, is what he's saying. He says, because they gave you a ride here, so say thank you. And when he said that, I was like, and then I started to meditate on it, and I was like, you know what? He's like, they gave you a ride here, so say thank you. Some people got a ride here, and it was all pristine, and it was no bumps, and it was no turbulence, and you rode in the lap of luxury here with a silver spoon in your mouth. Some people was on the back of a donkey. Our parents come in all shapes and forms, and their coming together gave us an opportunity to flesh, and they come with all whatever they come with, but to a certain degree, we have to give back what doesn't belong to us and say thank you for the ride. You know what I mean? Not necessarily that we hitchhike, they invited us here, but then you say thank you for the ride, and we good. Your video, it didn't start with you, gave me a perspective on things as far as, but yeah. Yep. That book, and even I'm going over it again to share it with you guys. It has a lot of things in it that is helpful. And I actually did go back and do the study. I just didn't put it together. I mean, some things I like to put together, especially when we talk about biblical things, only so that I live to a certain degree. And so I went back and looked at the sins of the father. The LF had a question about the sins of the father, revisiting. And it's mentioned in many places throughout the text, right? And I think it's something very interesting to go back and look at, and in light of this intergenerational trauma and what we model for our children and how they internalize it and then how they apply it in their life, whether it be good or bad. I also find it interesting that Solomon, that's my dude though, Solomon, he's my dude because he's leaving wisdom on record. But if you notice in the Proverbs, he often likes to say, basically, if the child acts bad, it reflects on the mother. But if the child acts good, then it's a positive for his father. And he says it in different ways each time. And I'm like, well, what in the world? You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? You're welcome. You're welcome. I think that if I learn, I'm going to share. Because there was a time when I didn't understand what a narcissist was. I didn't understand what was happening in my life. I was in a cloud of darkness, and I just needed someone to just like share something. And it really was just someone saying, oh, the person is a narcissist. I never really studied that before. And I didn't really understand. And I just froze like, a narcissist? What's that? You know what I mean? And that was when the light bulb went on for me, like just studying cycles and behavior and patterns and how we attract people who are going to reinforce what we think about ourselves and what we feel about ourselves. And I never looked back. And ever since I started learning that, I have to share it. Like that made, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. And you're like, oh, I see you. Oh, I see you. Cool, we got this now. And you're no longer triggered. You could kind of find your balance and your peace and walk through the fire and not get burned. You know what I mean? And it's a long journey. I'm like, Most High, can I get some rest? Can I get some refreshment? But it's coming. So with that said, the time is going on me. 4:43. All right, y'all. We shall reconvene. Hallelujah. We should reconvene. Everybody have a blessed day. Take it one day at a time. It's a learning process. But if it's you, let me say this. If it's you, if you find out that something you're experiencing is because of something you're doing, don't waste time pointing the finger at other people. Because it's better noted. I could say, man, the reason why this happened to me is because McDonald's is I don't eat McDonald's, but I'm just saying, was putting all this stuff in the food. And Burger King did this. And Little Debbie, and the reality is, I'm choosing to eat it. So the only person I can control, I could pick it McDonald's or Little Debbie or Burger King, or I can just choose not to eat it. or I can choose to make a healthy alternative. So really, for me, time better spent is with realizing that if it is you, which, a large majority of the time it's us, then work on that and you'll get further along. So with that, toodaloo everybody. Check out the video about the dropping of the birth rate 4 years in a row in America. No one in America 4 years in a row, birth rate is low. And what does that gonna mean? What's that gonna mean? How is that gonna play out? All right, y'all. Oh, look, I'm trying to click y'all off by doing the phone on the computer. That's how I